All right, let's chop it up. The team we're not talking about, we should be talking about. Give me the team we're not talking about that we should be talking about. Louis Riddick, what do you got for me?
I know we've talked about this team.
Okay.
But people don't want to buy in. And that's Seattle.
Okay. You have the floor.
People don't want to buy in. Because, and you know what? I think it's because, well, I know it's primarily because of the division that they're in, and people think that division will ultimately be won by the San Francisco Kyle Shanahan's, and that's like the primary reason why. So like everyone goes, well, Kyle's the better coach than everyone. Kyle can do this. Kyle can call up this play. Kyle can do that. Kyle can figure out anything. It's like I get it. Like I love Kyle Shanahan as much as anybody. I do. But when you look at what and here and the second part is because even though San Francisco has as much uncertainty surrounding their quarterback position as any team in the NFL that is considered a Super Bowl contender, any team, we don't know who the quarterback's going to be for them, and we don't know how it's going to work out. People still believe no matter what Geno Smith did last year, it's like, well, it's Geno Smith though, dude. Like, come on, anybody, a broken clock can be, right twice a day. Like, I mean, he just got lucky last year. It just worked out for him. They don't believe. John Schneider, like right now, like if you look at the best GMs in the league right now, as far as what they've done over the past 2-3 years in restocking their roster, you have to go with Brett Veach in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go with Howie Roseman in Philadelphia. And John Schneider is right there with what he's done to this roster and how they've revamped it. People thought Pete Carroll was on his way out. Pete forgot about football. Pete rode the backs of Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas and Marshawn, and he didn't do anything. It was just all those guys. People thought that Pete couldn't coach. There's no way he can catch up to, modern-day football. This team has a young offensive line with 2 new stud bookend offensive tackles. They've got speed, versatility at wide receiver. They've got a absolute stable of running backs now with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. On defense, they've got arguably a guy who could have been the defensive rookie of the year last year in Tariq Woolen.
Yep.
They get the best corner in the draft this year in Devin Witherspoon, who we all love. And I know you've seen him. You know how good he is.
Yep.
Bobby Wagner comes back. Jordan Brooks is a burgeoning star. I mean, they've got players, man.
You didn't even mention the Prez. You didn't even mention the Prez, Jamal Adams.
I didn't even
you mentioned the Prez.
He's coming back. Look, in that division's wide open. It's right there for them to take this year. It's right there for them to take this year and then go on and really get on a run. The team was a year ahead last year, and I thought last year they were a playoff caliber wild card type of team. When I saw them in the preseason, went out there for training camp, and people said, you need to find a new job because analyzing football isn't the job for you. There's no way Seattle's going to be that good. They'll be a top 5 drafting team. This is their year. It's kind of like Kansas City. Last year wasn't supposed to be Kansas City's year either, which that's a whole different subject. But Seattle is that team. It's that team this year that could surprise everyone in the NFC, period.
And they were a top 5 drafting team with the pick they got for Russell Wilson. And you didn't even mention Jackson Smith-Njigba, who may be he may be the offensive rookie of the year, even with all of the quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round. Period.
No question. I mean, he's, when I said they have like a, versatility at wideout, I mean, in that room, think about the different body types, Rich, that you have right there, which is exactly what you're looking for, right? You have DK, who's the freak.
Yeah.
You have Tyler Lockett, who's like probably the most, when you talk about under the radar, not talked about excellent wide receivers in the NFL, Tyler Lockett can do it all. Deep ball threat, run after the catch threat, slot threat, he can do whatever you want. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the same way. People think, well, you're just a slot guy at Ohio State. No, he's not. Talk to Brian Hartline. Talk to Ryan Day. Watch the tape of Jackson. He can do it all. They believed that Ohio State, that he was better than Olave. That he was better than Olave. Now, I'm not going to say he's as good as
Harrison.
No.
Right. I'm
not going to put him in that category.
Right.
This kid can go. Rich, they've got players, man. They've got players, and Seattle is for real. I'm going to jump right back. Well, I never got off. I'm still on that train. And I think that team, for me, I think they win the West.
Louis Riddick.
I think they win. I think they take it from San Francisco.
Louis Riddick here on the Rich Eisen Show, showing up on the last day of June for sure. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.